Hi everyone, my name is Clay and welcome to this episode of CHBTV. We're 10 games into the season for the Vancouver Canucks and there's so much to talk about. Already, we can talk about their quick start, one of their best in recent history. We're going to talk about goal celebrations, too much or too little. How about Mike Gillis in Washington? And of course, Luongo and Schneider. Streaking, phones, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Welcome to the second episode of Canucks Hockey Blog TV, otherwise known as CHBTV to those in the vernacular. As you know, my name's Chris, and with me today is Clay, Ed, and joining us, very special guest all the way in from the Beat 94.5, Chris Palliser.
I like the way you said that. You got a voice for radio.
You know, I'm good once in a while.
Attaboy. Check this out.
He's got a face for radio, too.
Yes. I wonder what will break first, your spirit or your body.
All right. It is pretty good. It's not.
Come
bad.
on.
It's not bad.
Thank
it's
you.
Not bad.
Is that why we brought him in here?
I don't know.
Comment. Vote. I do more. I do a mean Gollum as well. Sorry. Canucks.
Okay, so last episode talked about a lot of things, and this episode I think we're going to do quite a bit. So I'm going to start it right off. I mean, let's talk about what we saw last night. Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers. We got ourselves a shootout win, or not a shootout win, an overtime win. What am I talking about? It was kind of like the shootout with that Hall penalty shot. But I mean, before we really get into the game, that win caps off one of the best starts for the Vancouver Canucks since 06. I think it's 06. Does it actually feel that good?
I find that hard to believe. Is that legit?
Apparently. I mean, you look at how many Octobers have we suffered through where the Canucks can't win. We get into November and all of a sudden it's lights out.
We're thrown off, though, because it's January, February now. We didn't actually start in October, so it's kind of weird.
And in the past, January, February, we turn it on, don't we?
Well, it usually, we face
Starts
the...
in December, but yeah.
So this makes sense, then.
So they're on track.
Well, I guess they're on track. Okay, fair enough. But the point being, we got a shortened season.
Yeah.
Points are precious. And, I mean, when we last filmed, the feeling was doom and gloom. Oh my goodness, how are the Canucks going to hold on? There's a huge goaltending controversy. There's no secondary scoring. There's no primary scoring. And here we sit where the Canucks, I think, as of tonight, are fifth in the league.
It's just crazy how they've very quietly amassed this 5-2-2 record. You're right, to sit first atop the Northwest, no surprise there, but right behind San Jose and Chicago, very quietly, just doing their thing and getting back to the top.
Yeah. I think it's, we in Vancouver, we set these high expectations. We want the Canucks to go undefeated every season, 16 straight in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There's no in between us. And then they lose a few and it's like, oh my God, doom and gloom. And yet, really, this has happened year in, year out. So Tanev scores himself the winner in overtime. Now, true, I've been calling it for, weeks now, and maybe my recollection or precognitive abilities aren't on, but the celebration afterwards, that team was genuinely into that. Every single player on the ice in a massive group hug. I'm actually kind of worried that Tanev might have an upper body injury about a rib or two, but it continued on to the dressing room. You're watching interviews, you got all the guys in the back screaming Tan man. Could this be what brings the Canucks together? I mean, it's a short season, something to just ignite? 'Cause I don't think we've seen that yet.
Which is interesting because it goes back to what you said about they've had the best start ever, or since 2006. But again, we all feel like they've been this rocky, what's going on, oh my God. So I think there's some truth to that for sure. It's going to light a fire under their butts, and maybe they're going to go for it even more because we don't feel like they have been doing well, but they have.
Well, and maybe you're right. It's high expectations. I don't know what it is, but I've been watching the Canucks to this point and been, okay, cool, we got a couple points. Oh, we got a point. Wasn't a good game. And yet, the Canucks have been getting points.
You know what it is? It's that we feel like they're not as good as we expect them to be, and it's kind of been
Because we're Canuck fans.
yeah, exactly that too. But it's also been like since the beginning of last season, the end of last season, when they were kind of sleepwalking to the end of the regular season, and then they got owned by the Kings in the playoffs. And it just seems like it's more of the same this beginning of the season. But as good teams do, they find ways to win. So we feel like they're not being successful, but they are.
Yeah, and for me, it's two things. It's not so much the Tanev goal and the celebration, although very good, despite promising the threat of whatever with you. Anyways, but even I think it shows Ballard and Tanev the way they're playing well. They're getting more minutes as the third pairing, so to speak. Did you see that goal? Ballard should have got a third assist. You see the way he kind of shuffled the puck along the boards with the skate, got it to the Sedin's give and go, and boom to Tanev. I think that's one thing. The other thing is we're finding ways to win without Ryan Kessler. We're finding ways to win without David Booth. And when those guys come back, not only how do they change the aura, the makeup of the team, the way they play, but actually the physical makeup of the lineup. Like, that's really interesting. What happens to Schrader? What happens to any of those other guys, the fourth liners? Very fascinating. We might not have to worry about it for a few weeks, but I'm kind of curious.
I mean, I've been paying attention to Twitter. Kessler's going to come back and finally score the 5 goals the Canucks need for that Safeway scoring win winner. I mean, it's never happened before. It's going to happen this year, apparently.
Well, I've entered,
right?
so I hope.
And then apparently the next game when Dave Booth comes back, he's doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, you raise a good point about Ballard. Here's a guy who went on the, into the doghouse, had been there forever.
Yeah.
The running joke was, who's on the ice? Oh, it's Ballard. It's okay.
Yeah.
To what has to be probably one of the solid contributions on the blue line. In fact, I'd almost wager that Ballard and Tanev have been the most consistent.
Yep.
And who would have predicted that? And this season is what, not even 3 weeks in, and it's already got all these wacky storylines.
It's probably why everyone was so happy and celebrated, because they've been so consistent that he hasn't had that goal, and it was the first one and all that good stuff. So boom, it happened. He's obviously a good guy in the dressing room. The team supports the guy. Boom, they're all pumped. They want to get him another one.
Yep.
So I think it fired him up.
Let's talk about the celebration. So Tanev scores that goal, and I have to be honest here. There was part of me that was wanting him to go sliding down the ice, Yakupov style. And I understand on Twitter people are talking about how it could be that maybe they're trolling the Canucks, but that happens. Is that what we want to see? Do we want to see players that excited, having that much fun?
I think it depends completely on the situation. If it's overtime goal, first one, celebrate. If it's a 7-2 win, don't, because if I'm the other player, I'll punch you.
Okay, so
I mean that I'm a nice guy.
You're very nice.
Not violent. I've never been in a fight. Only got arrested the once. I mean,
That's right.
it's for nothing.
You're young.
Exactly.
Yeah.
well, okay. So let's take a look.
I didn't get arrested. I'm kidding.
Every time we see the players,
Yep.
having fun or celebrating or getting into the game, you got Anisimov with the duck hunter after his goal, and you got Ovechkin, warming his hand on the stick, which happened to be on fire. There's always that sort of talk about the code, and there'll be retribution. And you got Yakupov, kid in the league, first season, scores pretty stellar goal, and he's sliding down the ice as if he won himself the Stanley Cup. Now I'm completely okay having players have that type of emotion, have some fun, be genuine. And I'm also in the back of my mind thinking, wow, I can't wait to watch that next game those two teams play. So
I didn't mind the Yakupov thing. You look at the circumstances of that game. Edmonton was fighting hard, and they had a goal disallowed, right? Just a couple of seconds before that, and boom, to score with 3.5 seconds left. Yes, he's a rookie. Maybe that's why I'm excusing it. But one celebration, okay. But I heard that other players in the Edmonton locker room talked to him later. They said, rein it in, kid. That's good. That's happy. Let's make it about the team. And yeah, I wouldn't want to be punched out by someone like Chris Palliser. So I think he will rein it in. I think he has reined it in. But I don't mind it as a rookie, first one. I don't mind it at all. I know you didn't like it. Look at you. You're gonna be scared.
I disagree completely with both of you gentlemen, just because I feel it's my place to disagree. And showboating is not something I approve of. And promoting yourself, listen to The Beat, Monday to Friday, 9 to 2, 94.5. Showboating and stuff is not cool, and those that do it, I'm not a fan of. Scoring a goal, going all the way down the ice. In a close game, you got to feel for the other guys. There is a certain level of professionalism you've got to have. I think in the Stanley Cup that's cool, but regular season, 2 games in, good for you, kid. But whatever.
I think there could be more emotion, and we hear this notion of, because NHL has a lot of humble, hardworking Canadian farm boys, that they're not used to emitting that emotion, revoking that, or whatever the word is. But a simple thing of this, whatever it may be, some other functions. I think it's okay, and I think we look at the NBA, we look at the NFL. They do a really good job of marketing individuals, not just teams.
NFL?
Touchdowns. Look at touchdowns. They kiboshed.
Yeah,
they kiboshed the
true.
Sharpie.
Yeah, that's the no fun league, dude.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you look at, I'll use the NFL to the CFL. In the CFL, you got the Calgary Stampeders years ago doing like the bobsleigh with the end zone, pylon. And in the NFL, you bring out a Sharpie obviously is a problem, but any type of gratuitous celebration, done. No, not allowed. I mean, they got that much control. And I think that's where with hockey, and if it's genuine, I got no issue with it.
Yep.
Funny you bring on the CFL. I also work for the BC Lions. Come out to a game this season. I'm the crowd pumper guy. Hockey.
Well, talking about pumping things up, I want to talk a little bit about Luongo's tires.
Should be on air. For real.
Yeah, that
Oh,
one's
now-
good.
now
That
I
one's
get
good.
one.
Yeah. Well, it's all me. But Mike Gillis happens to go and take in a game in Washington, and all we know is that apparently he was only there to watch. He apparently talks to McPhee afterwards, says, "I was there to, make a spectacle of it." McPhee then comes back and starts saying, "Oh, first class, that's awesome. Never had a GM do that." So when you know you got a first class organization. Where there's smoke, is there fire here?
I think that he's covering up.
What?
I think there's workings, there's goings-ons. I mean, they
Washington-
keep talking about
yeah.
a team. I think Luongo's playing because they're showing him off. I think he was down there wheeling and dealing.
I don't know if they have to showcase Luongo. I think everyone knows how good Luongo is, and I don't see his trade value.
The city doesn't know. The city says they know when he has a good game, but then when he has a bad game, the city's like, boo, trade him.
Yeah.
We won the President's Trophy last year.
Twice.
Twice we've won it, but we won it last year.
Yeah.
We locked it up, we sealed it.
Yeah.
And Luongo had a bad game, like the game before we went into the round 1. They booed him off the ice. That bugs me. So I think you gotta show him off because there's this perception. You show him off, you get him in there, he's winning. All of a sudden, people are calling, deals are happening. My people are talking to your people. Luongo's got a deal.
Okay, so let's say they're showcasing Luongo. I
Yep.
mean, I actually don't have a problem. I'm of the opinion you play whoever's hot. Right now, Luongo's playing like he's got a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. And, I mean, consider how he appears, how relaxed he appears. Last night, Hall comes in, and Luongo doesn't even flinch. He moves his blocker a bit.
He didn't even
and
move. He didn't even go to his butterfly.
Well, no.
It was just a stand-up goalie.
Yeah, literally.
But what does he do? He just gives Hall a look and,
Yeah.
maybe something said, I don't know. Kane shootout attempt. Again, same thing. They have a discussion. Luongo just seems to be at ease. And if this is what it takes to do whatever it needs to be done, I got no problem with it.
Hey, analogy. Luongo Schneider. Luongo is BlackBerry. Schneider is Apple. Everyone was like, let's go with Apple, let's go with that. But wait, BlackBerry Z10, Luongo, is that the way to go?
Personally, I think you're telling me that Eddie Lack, whose Android's coming in?
Is Eddie Lack the Android?
And you're talking to a guy who used the Palm
Who's
3 for 2
Samsung?
years, so I
who's
don't-
Samsung?
I don't even get a chance to comment.
What
I
show
don't.
am I on right now?
Or is BlackBerry Z10? Are you gonna get one?
No, BlackBerry, dead to me.
Really?
Yeah, Luongo not, but BlackBerry is.
Let's talk about Minnesota tonight. Okay.
So we got the Wild, and I like how you say tonight. You look at the Wild right now. 2 signings,
Yep.
which allegedly somehow they can all afford. Mind you, maybe Minnesota hasn't been spending all that much
Right.
money. They're supposed to be top in the Northwest, fighting for the West, and here they are, the bottom. Is this a short season, or is this just a bunch of expectations that were falsely placed upon a team, having 2 players join them that somehow were the missing pieces?
They've always been that team that either just makes the playoffs or just misses it, right? That whole mid to bottom tier team. I don't think 2 guys, although they're decent, I don't think anyone was thinking that they were going to take over the top of the conference or not even the division. No, it doesn't
Well, I
surprise.
don't know. I mean, I saw a lot of predictions that had the Wild at the top of the West.
Well, they got decent players. They got decent goalie, decent forwards, but I just think it's short season. You got to get acclimated, all that kind of stuff. I didn't expect much, and they're proving basically what I expected.
So are you telling me that the Canucks are going to walk all over them?
Overall, maybe not in this. I'd like to think that, but overall, they won't even touch the Canucks in the season. I don't see Minnesota finishing any higher than 7th. Mark my words. And no, Minnesota no higher than 7th.
No higher than 7.
And if they hit 6 or higher, I will streak. And if they hit 6 or higher, I will streak. I will streak.
Yeah.
That's on tape, dude.
No, I think until Minnesota proves it, Parise's a decent start. Suter, whatever. I just don't see a strong enough team. They're better, of course, than last year, but I still don't think they compete with the elite of the conference. And I would put San Jose, Chicago, and yes, Vancouver as tipping into that as well. Tipping it, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? They're up there. No, I'm not worried. Maybe I've got blinders on. Are you? You like Minnesota?
I'm a true Canucks fan.
Yeah.
I don't care about any other team. You said some names I don't really know. I know Canucks, and they're gonna win.
I did see his level of interest kind of drop.
I
This is like
Don't cut to anything off this camera. I think I started to drop a little bit there. Schneider got the start.
Something to
Sum
prove.
it up. What do you think?
Something to prove. Schneider is going to go out, something to prove, show that he deserves to continue to have that coin of both sides. Schneider, I'm thinking he's playing stellar.
Playing well tonight.
Makes sense to me that he's starting. Luongo got 4 straight, and there's a very slow week compared to speaking 3 games in 7 nights. Get Schneider back in. He'll be absolutely fine. He's going to try and regain his net back.
I'm okay with that, but I'm a diehard Luongo fan, so I wanted to see him come back in, keep his streak going, help his trade value, get him to where he wants to go. But Schneider's all right.
I'm thinking it's really interesting how now we have Schneider with all the pressure on him instead of Luongo getting
Totally.
Now Schneider's got to prove himself.
And he's a young guy. He doesn't have the history Luongo had
It's
when he
the
was
stuff
taking
that
the
Luongo's
pressure.
already done, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking the Canucks, they're winning this game. It's going to be 4-1. I got Tanev scoring the game winner. In the words of Marcus Ramos as it goes to the Wild, 1 ping only.
Who was that?
Marcus Ramos, Sean Connery, Hunt for Red October.
Wait, hold on. Before we do that, before we get to Chris, we got to make this into a thing. I mean, whenever we have a game prediction, are you guys willing to wager loser buys a round? Loser buys a round? Winner buys a round?
No, loser's got to fight around.
Loser buys a round. Okay.
I'm going to say loser buys a round. I'm totally down for that. It should be loser buys 3 drinks, and I'm not going to come back after this
All
night.
right, so we'll do it like this. We'll go with which team wins, final score, and who scores the game winner. And then out of 3, we'll figure out who's the loser, and loser has to buy a round, all right? So, Chris, what was yours again?
So I got Canucks 4-1. I got Tanev scoring the game winner. And what was my third thing?
You got it already.
That's it.
Here we got it.
Good.
You
See,
said
I am
Canucks win,
awesome.
3,
Yep.
Okay.
Canucks 4-2. Captain Henrik Sedin with the game winner.
Canucks 4-3, regulation, Mayray. I like that guy. He's a good guy.
Ray. Wow, that's not who I would pick. But
Surprised you picked
I'm gonna
Schneider.
go with.
Mayray is staying on his feet this season.
I'm actually surprised.
Right?
It's a little bit less rated.
His hands have finally caught up with his legs,
little
or
bit less
legs
rated
with his
down,
hands.
right.
That's what I meant.
All right, and I'm going a little bit off your. You guys are all going with 4s, so I'm going with 2-0. I'm gonna say whoever's in net, or I'm gonna say we get a shutout, and let's call it at. I'm gonna say Cassian.
Cassian. Wow. Good pick. Wrap it up, my man.
Cool. So, any
Go,
final
Canucks,
words
go.
to play?
No, that was good conversation. I learned a lot from Chris, and I hope that Minnesota finishes no higher than 7.
Cool.
Because you're streaking, okay?
What station you work for again?
I work for the Beat 94.5. You can have your bills beat right now 3 times a week at 7:10, 11:10, and 5:10. Just submit your bills to us at thebeat.com. That's www.thebeat.com. You can listen to us on your phone with the Bell Media app. And I'm on Monday to Friday, 9 to 2.
That's not the first time you said that, is it?
No.
And
Go,
I got
Canucks,
nothing to say,
go.
but
Go, Canucks, go. Go, Canucks, go! Sorry, buddy.
It's all good.
Well, fired up.
Just want to thank the Hog Shack Cookhouse here in Steaston. It's one of the fabulous places that serves barbecue in the Lower Mainland, and us here at CHB, we're quite happy to be here as guests. We're here every second week filming CHBTV. We plan on being here again, and if any of you want to join us here for some fantastic barbecue, some craft beer in beautiful Steaston at the Hog Shack Cookhouse, simply reach out to us at CanucksHockeyBlog.com.
We're streaking!